In this video, I will be providing an overview of the CCX website. To begin, we'll need to log into the CCX website. Once logged in, the first page we'll see is the home page. This is the page that displays when the user first logs in. At any time, users may choose the Home tab to return to the home page. The next tab we'll see is the Approval tab. The Approval tab will be selected when users are ready to approve a batch and search for batches pending approval. To get credit for a deposit, the batches must be approved. If a depositor closes a batch and does not take the next step of approving the batch, they will not receive credit for the deposit. If the user has sufficient rights, meaning a supervisor or a manager, they can choose the Close and Approve option during balancing. Batches must be approved by the depositor's cutoff time, which is set by your financial institution, to receive same-day credit for the deposit. To approve batches, the user should choose the Approval tab from the left menu bar. From the Approval tab, we'll see the batches pending approval. When selecting on the Approval tab, the page will load with the batches pending approval by default. This is where batches that are pending approval will display. Bank representatives and client users with the appropriate roles can approve batches that have been closed and sent for approval here. Since this depositor does not have any batches pending approval, we can go ahead and select the drop-down and then select the blank option to display all of the depositors with batches pending approval. Here you can decision the items based on the actions available. We have View Items, Audit, Return, and Approve. It is important to note that FIS support is unable to decision items for your financial institution. Even if your financial institution has subscribed to the CCX Plus feature, CCX support is unable to decision items. For any questions regarding any decisioned items, you would need to reach out to the CCX Plus team. Institutions that elect to use soft limits will also have a link across the top listed as Exception Review. Since this demo financial institution does not use soft limits, the option is not available. If your financial institution is using this feature, the Exceptions Review would be selected to review the deposits that exceed the deposit limits. Batch deposits are sent to the Exception Review workflow for an institution user to confirm the deposit for processing or to return it to the depositor. An email is sent to a specific FI email address or email addresses when a batch is sent to the exception workflow. As soon as the FI user confirms the batch deposit, it will be processed with the next file release. The next tab we have is Transactions. Users may choose the Transaction tab when attempting to research transactions for a period of up to the prior 24 months. Deleted deposit history may be viewed online via the Transaction Search option for 90 days following the deletion of the depositor or deposit account. As a note, returned and settlement batch status search queries will apply only to depositors using the returned items and ACH check conversion features within CCX. After choosing transactions, the user would then select the correct status for the search item from the top of the page. The following options are available: pending approval, approved, deleted, processed, returned, settlements, and remittance. After selecting the correct status at the top of the page, the user can then enter in the search criteria and date range for any batches or items that are pending approval, approved, deleted, processed, returned, settlements, or remittance. Then you would select the search button for the results. So if we select processed and then enter in a minimum amount of $100, we'll choose the date for June 1st through June 30th and then select search. This will display all of the results for the criteria we've entered. We can then see that we have multiple options available for each item. We have View, History, and Audit. The next tab we'll see is Batch Status. Once we've selected batch status, this will allow us to view the batch statuses for a period of up to the prior 24 months. Users can search for the batch in question and then look under the status column for that batch to determine if a batch is opened, approved, submit, or processed. Additionally, selecting Audit under the Audit column will allow a user to see when and by who a batch was created, approved, and processed. So if we again choose the date of June 1st through June 30th, and then select all depositors, we can select Search to view the different batches. Additionally, if you have a batch ID, you can enter that into the batch ID field and then again select Search to limit the search results that are available. The next tab that we'll see is Reports. From the Reports tab, users will be able to generate and view several reports. The user can select the desired reports and retrieve it under the Reports Pickup tab. Across the top, we can see that there are 3 different options: Current Day Reports, Historical Reports, and Reports Pickup. The Current Day Reports will include information from the current day, while the Historical Reports will include information from previous dates. A date range can be selected as long as it falls within the report parameters. The maximum date range will be listed with the report. If we select Historical Reports, we can see that each of the reports does have a maximum range listed with it. The Reports Pickup would be selected once we have determined which report we'd like to run. If we click on Reports Pickup, since we have no reports available, we'll just have a message that indicates as such. However, if you have selected a report to download, it does become available within minutes and can be downloaded by selecting the report listed here. The next tab you'll see is File Exchange. This is mostly used by financial institutions that are responsible for their own item processing. These banks select the File Exchange option to pull their CCX depositor files for the current business day. As you can see, across the top are the different options available. If your financial institution does use this service, then you would select the download depending on which file type your financial institution uses. It is important to change to the archive directory if you believe that a file is missing. This can be done by selecting the Change to Archive Directory link. Then you'll see that the link has then changed to Change to Main Download Directory, and you can toggle between the two by selecting the links. The next tab is going to be our Payment Export. And once we've selected on Payment Export, we'll see that this is where you can configure custom reports and files that have been set up by either the financial institution or the depositor. Generally, this is something that has been already set up and does not require additional configuration. However, if you would like to go in here and take a look at the different options, you can select the depositor that you'd like to view. Since this depositor does not have a payment export configured, we will see that there is not anything listed here. The next tab we'll see is Clients. Clients is selected to maintain and create users. This is used by the financial institution when adding depositors to CCX or editing existing customers within the system. As a note, CCX support does not create depositors. This is something that is maintained by the financial institution. Across the top, there are multiple different options. The first option is New Depositor. This is where financial institutions would set up and configure a new depositor. The next tab is the Depositor Search, which is where users can search for existing depositors. The next tab is New Deposit, which is where a financial institution user would configure a deposit for an existing depositor. The Deposit Search is where users can search for existing deposits. The depositor would need to be selected in order to refine the deposit search results. The next option is New Location, which again would be used to set up a location for an existing depositor. And then the next option is the Location Search, which would be used to search for a location that has already been configured for an existing depositor. The next option we have is New Branch, What this does is allows a financial institution user to use the branch feature when decisioning items for a depositor. The next option is branch search, which allows for searching the available branches for the financial institution. The next option is new scanner, which can be used to set up scanners to associate with a merchant. This feature allows the financial institution to track when a scanner was set up with a merchant, their maintenance date, as well as the serial numbers associated with the scanner. The last option is our scanner search. This is where users can search for scanners that have been entered into the system. The next tab we'll see is our maintenance tab. Across the top, we can see new opt-out account, search opt-out account, remittance config, payment export config, reports config, and stop file config. The new opt-out account is for financial institutions using the ACH conversion part of CCX. What the opt-out account allows is for these types of accounts to be opted out of the check conversion to an ACH transaction. For these circumstances, the user should enter in the routing number and account number and the reason for opting out. So if we select the new opt-out account, we can see the depositor to be selected, and we would enter in the routing number and account number as well as the reason. The search opt-out account would be used to search for accounts to determine which accounts have been set for opt-out. So if we select the search opt-out account, we can see the different accounts that have been set up. The next tab is the remittance config. This will be selected when a depositor requests or needs custom remittance fields populated upon scanning checks or items. The user would select the depositor for whom the remittance configuration is required and then configure the remittance accordingly. Payment export config is chosen when a user needs to configure the remittance fields being populated by the custom export. Once you have chosen the payment export config, you would select the depositor to configure the payment export for. The next tab is the reports config. Once we've selected on the reports config, you'll click on the link next to the financial institution name that says select. Here you will see the CSV reports that are available for automatic generation for your financial institution. What this means is that the reports will automatically be generated based on the frequency selected from this page. Once you have configured the reports accordingly, you can click Save to save the changes. The last tab is the stop file config. Depositors using remittance may upload stop files. By uploading a stop file specific to a depositor's deposit account, any payment scanned that matches the stop record will be blocked from processing during the balancing of the batch, alerting the user that the payment is blocked. The user may then edit the item if it is a misread, so it will pass through the completion of the batch or delete the payment and/or remittance coupon from the batch. As a note, a stop file should be a text file with one column and multiple rows. The stop file can contain only numeric characters. Other formats are acceptable, but a request must be submitted for this to be allowed. The next tab is our Users tab. The Users tab is selected when adding or editing users within CCX. The first option we have is the user search. Users can view user-level information as well as unlocking and resetting end users or bank users' logins. The new client user selection would be selected when setting up a new client user for a depositor. As a note, CCX support does not create users. This includes both client users as well as financial institution users. If you need additional assistance regarding this topic, you may always open a ticket via Client Portal to discuss different options. When selecting the user group search, we can choose the depositor to view the user groups. So if we choose the depositor and select search, we would then see the different user group names assigned to the depositor. The last tab is the new client group. The new client group can be selected when attempting to add new client groups to a depositor. The next tab available is Broadcasting. Once we've selected on Broadcasting, we'll see that there are two options available at the top. There's New Broadcasting Message and Existing Broadcasting Messages. The new broadcasting message would be used to create a new message that will display on the home page. The existing broadcasting messages can be selected to view existing broadcast messages. If we select Edit under Actions, we can view the message that is being displayed and when the start and end dates are. The last tab that we see is Documentation. Once we've selected Documentation, we can see the scanner drivers and documentation, the RDC self-assessment, general documentation, forms, and release documentation. You can select on any of these to view additional information. And that's it! Now you've seen a full overview of the CCX website. Thank you for viewing this training video. To learn more, please check out our other training modules. If you have questions, navigate to our frequently asked question page for answers to commonly asked questions. If you do not see an answer to your question, or if you need additional assistance, feel free to create a ticket on Client Portal.